Hello there.
He said it! He said it!
Let's take a trip back in time. The year is 2012 and George Lucas has just announced that he's selling Star Wars to Disney, and I for one couldn't have been more excited. Fast forward 3 years later to December 17th, 2015, it's opening night for The Force Awakens, and after watching it, I was slightly disappointed that they didn't take more risks. It felt so safe and so similar to A New Hope. The following year they released Rogue One. Now tell me, off the top of your head, and be honest, can you even remember all 6 of the main characters' names? I sure as shit can't. Apart from the Vader scene, it's a very forgettable movie. I was still excited for the future of Star Wars, but I shouldn't have been, because next to be released was The Last Jedi, the movie that divided the fan base.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
Liar!
Fuck me, it's bad. The Last Jedi is really bad. If you want to see me go more in depth, I have a video called Rating the Sequels. Check it out if you wanna, but I for one don't want to spend another second talking about this piss poor excuse of a movie. Fuck you, Rian Johnson. Fuck you.
Disney defines family entertainment, and in many ways it's the best company possible to take Star Wars into the future.
Every word of what you just said is wrong.
I couldn't even fake it. I'd lost all my excitement for Star Wars. I didn't even go to the cinema to see Solo. But when I did eventually get round to watching it, surprisingly, out of everything released under Disney so far, I had the most fun with this. Now that doesn't mean I think it's a good movie, because it's not. We definitely didn't need a Han Solo origin story. That's why George Lucas removed him from Revenge of the Sith. And I absolutely hated that fucking SJW robot.
You need anything?
Equal rights?
I want to... And it occurred to me one day that the perfect person to take over the company was Kathy.
Really, George? She's the perfect person to take over?
Right.
Christmas of 2019 they released the last installment of the sequel trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker, and by this point I couldn't have cared less. And then when I did eventually get round to watching it, it was just as shit as I knew it was going to be.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Do you like having autism?
And after that, at long last, the reign of awful, unplanned and unentertaining movies was at an end. Disney realised they were damaging Star Wars as a brand, but they'd spent over $4 billion purchasing it. They weren't about to give up now, were they? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. A good Star Wars project made by Disney, with great characters, great music, great story. Unlike anything else released, this actually felt like Star Wars, and was proof that they are capable of writing good stories. My only complaint with season 1 is the force healing, because it's an ability that comes from the sequels. Speaking of the sequels, in season 2 we get a glimpse of a pre-production Snoke clone, and then in the season 3 trailer we're shown Babu Frick. Now, just like Clone Wars was used to improve how people saw the prequels, Disney's gonna try and do the same shit with The Mandalorian, and for me, it doesn't matter how much I like a show, all roads lead to the sequels, and I am not sticking around for the fucking Rey cameo.
Rey Skywalker.
Plus, they lost one of their best characters when Disney fired Gina Carano. And why was she fired? She was fired for a tweet. This tweet, which she posted in response to the harassment she received from the they them fucks for not putting pronouns in her bio. But that doesn't matter. Disney followed the orders of the woke mob and fired her anyway, which is funny when you think about it, because Disney pushed the strong independent woman narrative, and yet, when they actually have a strong and independent woman on their team, they fire her for not agreeing with them politically.
Pathetic!
We all knew Boba didn't die in Return of the Jedi, so him escaping from the Sarlacc pit is a scene everyone has wanted to see, and it didn't disappoint. This scene alone is great. The rest of the Book of Boba Fett, not so much. Boba is walking down a Tatooine street when he's ambushed by assassins, and what does he do? The man who used to be a competent bounty hunter shoots his rocket at their shields.
You're a fucking idiot.
And then, after a little bit of zapping, Beta Fett needs assistance to get to his Bacta tank.
Get me to the Bacta pod.
You're a pussy.
So Jabba's cousins turn up to claim his territory. The only problem is that in story, Jabba's been dead for 5 years. So why the fuck are they only trying to claim his territory now?
This territory is mine. Go back to Nalhata.
And off they fuck, but they leave behind Black Chewbacca, who's a trained gladiator and a bounty hunter. Now you'd think a trained gladiator bounty hunter would know how to kill a man. Apparently not. Where's that gun that he had earlier? That would have been a good way to kill the man you've been paid to kill. But no. Instead, Black Chris Hansen punches Boba upside the head with these big spiky electric knuckle dusters, surely killing him. No? What the fuck? Okay. Black Chris Hansen, the 8-foot gladiator bounty hunter Wookiee, bear hugs Boba, breaking his spine. You even hear the bones snap. But after all of that, Boba's just fine. Not even a fucking scratch. What? What the fuck? Tamara Morrison didn't quite pull off the Boba outfit. He looked more like Spudder Fett than Boba Fett, or should we call him Boba Fat?
And I tried to cut back on the beers so the stomach wouldn't be out too far. Because some of these fans were calling me Boba Fat. I need to go back to the gym anyway and get some stuff back.
And they say fat shaming doesn't work.
How dare you!
Don't even get me started with the rainbow moped cunts. Now if we were on Coruscant, fine. You'd expect there to be cyberpunk shit there because the entire planet is one big city. But on Tatooine, there's absolutely no fucking way. Also, how is this white chick so pale? The planet she supposedly lives on has 2 fucking suns.
Help me recover my fire spray gunship.
If you didn't know, Boba Fett's ship used to be called Slave One. But of course, Disney had to change it. The word slave could have offended some blue-haired libtards. They had such little faith in Boba's capability as a main character that they gave us 2 episodes without him, and instead handed the show over to Mando and Luke, which was much better, but even that had its problems. Like, how the fuck does Luke have Yoda's lightsaber? Yoda's lightsaber was lost during his fight with Palpatine, but was later found and incinerated, and this all happened in the comics that were supposed to be canon, but I guess not anymore.
But you may choose only one. If you choose the armor, you'll return to your friend, the Mandalorian. However, you will be giving into attachment to those that you love, and forsaking the way of the Jedi.
What?
Now I really thought that Luke Skywalker would have seen the errors in the ways of the old Jedi, seeing as the attachment he had for his father saved the entire galaxy. But no, Luke clearly learnt nothing from the original trilogy.
Which do you choose?
And of course, Grogu chooses Mando, but that kind of ruins the big emotional goodbye at the end of Season 2 if they reunite before Season 3 has even fucking started.
I'll try spinning, that's a good trick.
I haven't gone by the name of Obi-Wan since all before you were born.
Obi-Wan.
If you have a little brother or sister or even your own child, you know how slow children are. So when you see a 10-year-old Leia outrunning adults, it looks stupid as shit. But not as stupid as both of the mercenaries being stopped by branches. This scene would have been much better if they just removed the run-in altogether.
Why are you here?
Just waiting
For what?
for you.
Oh, for fuck's sake, she's running again. Why can't Obi-Wan catch her? He's a Jedi, and look how slow she is. Now, if you don't like Reva, Disney call you racist. But that's hypocritical, especially seeing as the only Indian character in Disney Star Wars is a fucking scammer.
I'm calling from Internet Relationship Providing.
Or what about the time Disney shrunk John Boyega in the Force Awakens poster to sell more tickets in China? But of course, that's right, Disney, we're the racists. Vader sets Kenobi on fire. Vader puts out the fire using the Force. Game of Thrones lady ignites the fire again, but Vader doesn't put it out this time. No, instead he stands there watching the loader droid save Kenobi. Now why the fuck would he do that? Vader's been waiting for this moment for 10 years. He blames Kenobi for what happened to Padme, for what happened to him. Everything's Kenobi's fault in Vader's mind. He wants revenge, so there's no way he'd just stand there fucking watching, is there? If a smack to the helmet is enough to completely disorientate a stormtrooper, then why even bother wearing the armour? It's not doing its job as armour, is it? Ugh, and the coat scene, really? You're telling me not a single stormtrooper thought, why's that guy got 4 fucking legs? Really? It amazes me that the snow speeders in 1980 look so much better than they do now in 2022. That's some shoddy CGI right there. Another thing about snow speeders is they only seat 2 people. So how's Obi-Wan, Leia, Game of Thrones lady and the pilot all supposed to fit in there?
Magic.
Wait, I'm sorry, but if this whole time all Reva has wanted is revenge on Vader for killing...
We're the only family I knew.
Then why would she join the Inquisitors and go round doing what Vader did to her to other Jedi?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
I actually like the scene where Vader, in his anger and pursuit of Obi-Wan, force pulls the ship and starts ripping chunks out of it. But then, when Vader noticed Obi-Wan is in the other ship, why did he let it fly away? Why not just use the Force again? It's not a video game. Vader doesn't have to wait for his abilities to recharge. The Grand Inquisitor survived being stabbed because his species has 2 stomachs. But how the fuck did Reva survive? She doesn't have 2 stomachs, and her stomach would have melted from the 6 seconds Vader had his lightsaber in her.
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Now that they've built up this relationship between Leia and Obi-Wan, it makes no sense that she doesn't even react when he dies in A New Hope. I do like that Qui-Gon appears in the end, but it does break canon, because in Clone Wars he says,
Show yourself, can you?
I cannot. My training was incomplete.
Okay, enough. That's it. I am done. I am not watching this shit anymore. Fuck Disney Star Wars. Fuck it.
Completely confident that Disney, will take good care of the franchise I've built.
Well, it's the end of the video. If you liked it, why not like it? If you liked me, why not subscribe? And then I'll see you in the next one.
Smoke weed every day.